Yo, what's happening, Raider Nation? It's your boy Soto here. You know what it is. Raiders versus the world. Talk about a team that the world loves to hate, your Las Vegas Raiders. All right, sticking with special teams theme right now, we're going to talk a little bit about Daniel Carlson. Daniel Carlson is coming off a pretty rough for him 2024 season. He missed 8 kicks. He missed 6 field goals and 2 extra points. That's not very Daniel Carlson-esque. It's really tough to put your finger on what the issue was with Daniel Carlson because it wasn't like he was injured or anything like that. I just think that he didn't get a lot of opportunity. And when you only get 25 extra points in an entire season because your offense isn't scoring that many touchdowns, you miss 1 or 2 and it kind of throws your whole kind of percentage off, right? And if you would have had 5 or 6 more that he would have made, it wouldn't have been that big of a deal. His percentage of makes and misses. My big thing is the field goals, especially initially in the season, were a little bit tougher for him. I don't know what that was, if it was just a concentration thing. Maybe he was injured. Not too sure about that right now. But what I do know is he's a longtime Raider. He's one of the last Oakland Raiders, along with Colton Miller and A.J. Cole and Maxx Crosby. And it's one of the things where you look back on it and you're like, yeah, he's been our kicker for quite some time. And he's hit some really clutch kicks and been there in some really clutch moments. So you really are pulling, if you're a part of Raider Nation, to really have Carlson have a really big comeback season for us, because when he's hot, when he's on, he's automatic. And he's definitely a great weapon and a great asset to his entire team, not just the offense and not just special teams, but all together, because this is a guy that goes out there with ice water in his veins and makes big kicks for us time and time again. So I'm looking for a big bounce back season from Daniel Carlson. We'll get to his presser, but before we do, I want to make sure everyone please like, comment, and subscribe to the video. It's the next way to support the channel. It's absolutely free to do. And it's the bare minimum you could do to support the channel, besides doing absolutely nothing and just watching the video. Guys, let's get to Daniel Carlson's presser. I love that logo, man. Such a good logo.
Hello, everybody.
Daniel, how has the new rules changed your training?
As far as kickoffs goes, I think it's, obviously we're going to see a lot less touchbacks. So, I mean, we did experiment a lot. Last year was a learning period. So I think, now it's just continuing that and, playing a lot more ball, which is exciting for special teams guys, exciting for me. I think, it's going to be a great play. And so hopefully we'll see a lot of exciting returns on our side when we do get a chance to return, and then a lot of, good kicks and coverage on our side as well.
Are you kind of at the point where, okay, let's just keep it like this and try to master this rather than every year?
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting when they make a rule change, because you kind of do adjust, something you've been working on for, a long time. Obviously, for the longest time, kicking far and high on kickoffs and hang time mattered so much, and now it's kind of the opposite, where it's just, placement and, precision is a little more important. So, some of it's fun, but yeah, I'd love for them, not every offseason to do that necessarily.
Have you had to learn some new skills in your kicking game, or dust off some old skills or anything like that?
Yeah, I mean, there's almost like, some like soccer skills that are popping up again, where it's, a little more feel, just because it's a very different kick than a field goal, or, you don't want to necessarily just kick it straight to the returner or anything like that. So there's just a little bit of a I don't know, reliance on the feel of kind of my old days of soccer. And, you've seen guys do it last year where, different teams did different things. So we'll see what happens this year, where, some teams may just kick and cover, and some teams might even hit touchbacks still. We'll have to find out.
A couple years back, I remember you had somebody like tilting the ball, holding onto it, and then loopholes in the rule book. Is there something that you guys are trying to find that way that you can use in your favor?
Yeah, we're always trying to compete and get any competitive advantage we could. But no, they've made the rules pretty clear about what you can and can't do so far. And if you guys see anything, let me know.
Daniel, obviously Ashton gets his number 2.
Yeah.
Was that a tense negotiation, and what have you thought of Ashton early in the offseason?
I heard before he even showed up. Just a high character guy, and so it was a really easy kind of. I wouldn't even call it a negotiation necessarily. Just a couple discussions, and it was super great. And everything I've seen on the field so far. I'm no expert, but he looks the part for sure.
Did you buy a new car with the money?
No new cars yet. So.
Speaking of which, how do you feel about getting the decision done?
Yeah, that's obviously the business side, but right now, especially this part of mini camp coming up, like I just want to focus on making kicks and leave the business side to that side. But obviously I love this is going on year 8 as a Raider now, and so that's essentially been my whole career, and just honored to be a part of this historic organization, and excited where we're headed this year and the direction we're going as a program. I feel like so, if that happens, love that to happen, but I'm focused on the football side.
Talk about the kicks happened last year. You didn't really use them in the game as much, but you practiced them a lot. How much of that year kind of helped you to not have the pressure of necessarily doing it that much?
Yeah,
practicing a lot of those.
Yeah, I mean, I think, like I said, last year was such a learning period where for a while we thought we were going to do a certain amount of kicks, and then it kind of shifted into, hey, this is working for other teams. We'll try and adjust to that. And so, I mean, last year obviously the returns got to around the 30-yard line. Touchback was around 30-yard line. So eventually teams started just, hey, late in the season, keep guys healthy, play a little more touchback ball. So, like I said, this year, obviously that's going to change in my opinion, but we'll have to see as it goes.
Are you worried that it affects your, like a golf stroke, a kicking stroke at all? Like your ankle kicks and then you're trying to kick
No, it's definitely something, I mean, I think, like I said, I had to adjust because, you're used to just kind of having one ball where you kick it high, far, straight is the goal. It doesn't really matter, how quickly it gets there, kind of, you're trying to make it hard for the returner to catch. So, it's a fun, different part of the game where, like I said, I'm a little more reliant on like a soccer style kick almost. But obviously field goals is, that's, for me, it's still the priority because at the end of the day, that's what, can make or break games a lot of times. But at the same time, like I want to be one of the best in the league at that kickoff part. I want to be effective, because it's not fun if we're just start kicking touchbacks or something like that. I don't think that, brings any value to my team, and so it's my job to dominate that as well.
Getting back to the whole jersey change, have you seen yourself wearing the new jersey? And I mean, how's it, when you look at yourself, like, what the heck is this?
Well, yeah, I mean, I wore 8 when I was back in Oakland, so I was glad the old jersey still fits. It's a little tighter around the belly, but no, the old jersey still fits, and it works well, so I'm excited for that.
Do you think there's pressure on Ashton to perform in that number?
Yeah, I give him a hard time. I call him number 2 a lot and stuff because obviously he's returning kickoffs and stuff, so I get some interactions on the field with him, but he looks good at it.
You guys all set?
Thank you.
Awesome. Thank y'all.
Yeah, a little lighthearted interview there, presser with Daniel Carlson, but he said a lot of good things. Some of the rule changes make it a lot different for kickers now because it's not just how deep and high can you kick a kickoff to get your coverage team out underneath it. The coverage team doesn't really matter how fast they get down there because they're 5 yards away from one another, and they can't run until the ball is caught or a ball lands. So one of the things that Daniel Carlson talked about is his soccer background is using a little bit more feel for the kicks to be able to place them and to be able to kind of not have to kick directly to the returner, but making them work for the ball. Make sure you keep it within the line so you don't get the penalties and stuff like that. A little bit more nuance than it was in the past. Before it was almost like a home run derby where it's like, all right, let me take a couple steps and let me launch it into the end zone. Now it's a little bit different. It's a little bit more kind of like a pitch shot, a wedge shot in golf where you kind of have to be a little bit more feel into it. And honestly, I think it kind of plays into Daniel Carlson's hands with that soccer background because he's used to doing like the corner kicks and free kicks and stuff like that. You kind of have to angle balls, and it's more touch than a power thing a lot of times. So one of the reasons why it's so important to have these types of guys and players on your team who can do both, who can kick the ball high and far during the field goals, but also have that touch to be able to pin teams down on kickoffs and as far as special teams go. So a lot of good stuff from Daniel Carlson. We don't pay a lot of attention to kickers, but you know what? They're people too, and they're part of a team, and they're an important part of special teams. All right, guys, that's my time for today. Really appreciate you guys watching. Go ahead and like, comment, and subscribe to this video. It's an excellent way to support the channel. It's absolutely free to do. And it's the bare minimum you can do to support the channel besides doing absolutely nothing and just watching the video. Guys, keep crushing it, man. Hit those notification buttons. Share to your socials. You guys are doing great. I really appreciate you guys. All Raider Nation's going to know about Raiders versus the World soon enough, and it's all because of you guys. I'm going to do my job right here and create content. I need you guys to do yours and go ahead and do those little couple things I ask you to do. That'd be great. It would really help all of us out immensely. All right. Make sure everyone, please tell your friends, tell your haters, tell your mamas, tell everybody. Raiders versus the World's greatest to go to Raider Nation today. All right. That's my time, everybody. Till next time. Peace. Hey, Raider Nation. Thanks for watching. There's plenty more where that came from. Go ahead and smash that like button. Drop a comment. Make sure to subscribe and share to all your socials. It's the bare minimum you can do without doing absolutely nothing.